In today's video, we're going to be talking about the ever elusive flow state. We're going to talk about what the flow state is, what keeps us from getting in the flow state, and how we can get in the flow state. What's up, guys? My name's Noah, and you're watching The Productive Producer. Most of the videos that I make for you guys are based on things that I'm learning myself. As soon as I get a handle on it and learn it to the best of my ability, I like to share it with you guys. And this is something that I've been working on for a little bit, is the flow state. So what is the flow state? We've all experienced it at some point or another. The flow state is when your mind and your body are working together. There's no resistance, there's no struggle or to try to make something happen. Things are just happening. It's pure execution. You could call it being in the zone. As creatives, this is something that we want to be in at all times. It feels so good to get lost in the work and then come out with a tangible product on the other side. So with something so common that we've all experienced before, why can't we get into the flow state on command? In my opinion, it comes down to two things, really. The first one is lack of concentration. Chances are last time you were in the studio, you weren't checking your phone every 5 minutes. That's because the flow state requires your full attention. Your brain cannot multitask. And if you think that you can multitask, please see the link in the description of this video. You need to have your attention fully devoted to what you're doing. The second one is self-doubt. And self-doubt's obviously a harder one to tackle. Everyone has a reason for feeling self-doubt in one way or another. Every artist experiences it. I'd say that most people, probably a good 99% of people, experience self-doubt in some form or fashion in whatever they do, even the people you look up to. A good way to frame it is it's the inner critic. If you can reframe that and imagine it as somebody else telling you that in the studio while you're working, can you imagine somebody telling you, like, this sucks, you should go back to doing the other thing that you were doing before, this is never gonna, people aren't gonna like this. You would not allow that kind of crap in the studio, especially not if you're trying to get in the flow state. So you want to try to really limit that, which I know is easier said than done. And we'll talk about a way to help address that later on in the video. So now we know what keeps us from getting into the flow state. Let's talk about how we can create an environment to enter the flow state more frequently. I've got 3 tips and a bonus tip. So here's the first one. We already sort of touched on it earlier. Eliminate distractions. No distractions, no phones allowed in the studio. It's all about creating the ideal environment for you to enter the flow state, where you're just working and it doesn't even feel like work. If you're distracted, you cannot enter that space. And you might be saying, well, what if I need to go on Splice and find a new sample? What if I need to go on YouTube and learn a new production technique? What if I need to, doesn't matter. Anytime you step out of the creative process, you are exiting the flow state. It's just, then you're gonna have to re-enter it again. Take care of all that stuff beforehand. We've talked about it on this channel before. Setting your intention when you sit down to produce is extremely important. So that's the first point. The second point is create a ritual or routine around you entering the flow state. If you have 2 or 3 little things you do every single time before you enter the flow state, or attempt to enter the flow state, because that's something too, like a lot of times we'll try to enter the flow state and our minds will be too busy and we just can't get there, and we just have trouble getting into the flow state. But on the times that you do, you're stacking those things with 2 or 3 little things, like maybe having a cup of coffee, or I don't know, maybe doing a dance, doing a Robert De Niro impression. Anything you do before you enter the flow state is your ritual. And if you do those things every time, you'll be training your brain to enter the flow state faster and faster each time. The third one is find your optimal production time of day. It's really hard to get in the flow state if you're just mentally drained. You might find it challenging to get into the flow state if you're working a 12-hour shift and you come home after a long day of work and you want to do focused work on your music. It's probably going to be tough for you to devote any mental energy to producing music. So you might want to try that flow state production in the morning. Maybe try to enter the flow state before you end up going to work. Now, you may not be a morning person, which I understand. Not everybody's a morning person. Just experiment with the timing. Try to find where that optimal time is for you, where you have the most energy, you have the ability to focus without interruptions, and you can dive deep into that work. All right, you guys know that I always do a bonus tip. So my bonus tip, last one, is meditation. We've been talking a lot about focus in this video, and a fantastic way to cultivate focus is through mindfulness meditation. If you think meditation is just for hippies and weirdos, you are not alone. I used to think exactly the same way. After I read into it a lot more, I realized how much it could help me. And then I started practicing it. And now I've been practicing it pretty much daily for the past 2 years. Every morning, every single morning, just 10 minutes a day. Meditation is a fantastic tool to help get into the flow state, and I would highly recommend it. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I really appreciate you watching all the way through to the end. It means a lot to me. It's been coming up on a year now that we've been making these videos nonstop. Have not missed a single Friday, and you guys are keeping me going. I'm gonna keep making the videos for you guys. So we'll see you next Friday. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving with your friends and your family, and hope you guys make some good music too. Peace.